students, how are you? It's good to see you back again. We are now in week 13 and our topic for English 1 for Diploma 3 for this week is about esports. I know some of you may be very excited about this topic, some of you may not. Then you are the same like me because I'm not really into esports. However, as I have mentioned to you last week, the esports as the topic for this week is not going to be discussed in details about the esport, but we're going to see it from the language perspective. So let us check the material for this week. So, as you can see, today's agenda is going to be a quick review on the materials and also what we have done over the weeks. And then we will do a discussion about week 13 topic, which is esport. And then we'll do some reading on reading critically and thinking critically. And also we'll have a discussion on the expressions of agreement and disagreement, as well as online practice of debate. So we will have the review first. Now we're going to have a quick review on the second assignment. As you know, I have already shared to you the detailed information about the second assignment in the group, and the submission is on this week, at the end of this week. So I really hope that you have done with your assignment. If you haven't, do it for this week and submit it before the deadline. Okay, so for the second assignment, it's about the writing of the material last week. It's about the development of gadgets from the past, present, and to the future. And one thing that I would like to remind you as well, do not forget to put the tenses that is required for the particular situation. Yes, okay, so that's for the review. Now for esports, let's have a look at the next slide. Yes, so there's a question over here. What is the difference between gaming and esport? I'm sure that if you are a fan of esport, then you would notice that there is a difference between gaming and esport. Now for this question, what I want you to do, I want you to post this answer in the YouTube comment, and as usual, please post your name and your ID, student ID, and then post your answer there to make it easier for me to identify who is posting what. Okay, now with this slide, I have listed 3 esport games. There's iRacing, Dota 2, and LOL. And you can actually add more games to this list over here. So with these games, I do have questions. So what do you think of these games? Do you actually have something to learn from this game? Or if you do, what do you learn? And is there anything from the game that you can improve as an IT student or as a gamer in general? Yeah. So for this question, I want you to put this answer in your discussion forum in eCourse for the answers of these questions. Okay, now for our next topic, it will be about reading. As I've mentioned in our outline, we will do some reading activity, and there's a strategy. There's one quite famous strategy for reading, which is SQ3R, which is survey, question, read, recall, and survey. So survey is like briefly seeing the text, and then question starts to ask whether what is actually this text for, and then you actually do, and then you do with the reading, and then you recall the information, and then you review again some of the important information. If you need more information about this SQ3R strategy, you can click on this link and then find out more about critical reading by clicking on this link. So with critical reading, what does it mean actually? Critical reading means engaging in what you read by asking yourself, what is the author trying to say? Or what is the main argument being presented? So it's not only merely the activity of reading, but you actually have questions going on in your brain when you start reading the text. So that is actually the true meaning of critical reading. Now, after learning about the SQ3R and the critical reading, what I want you to do first, I want you to practice the SQ3R by doing reading of this text. When I ask you to do the reading practice, then I'm actually requiring you to do a recording of this text, and then after that investigate or find out the words that you don't understand and consult with the dictionary or online resources. And then after that, after you applied the SQ3R, then it's time for applying the critical reading. So I have two questions over here. What is actually the author trying to say? After you read the text, do you actually find out what the author is trying to say? And then what is the attitude of the writer about the esport? Is it positive attitude or is it negative attitude? If it is positive, how do you know? If it is negative, how do you know? And please write down your answer in your notes, because I'm going to ask you the answer later on in our practicum session. Now, after we discuss about the critical reading, then of course when you're doing critical reading, there's a process of critical thinking. So what does critical thinking means? Being critical means advancing your understanding, not dismissing and therefore closing off learning. So you advance your understanding by thinking about it. If you are and you're actually starting to ask questions. So when you start asking questions, you're actually trying to be critical, but not the question. What the question that I mean over here is not like a common question, but a deeper question, a more advanced question. So how do you speak up your critical thinking? You can do an informal discussion, you can do speech, and you can also do debate. And this is something that we are aiming at for today. So in order to express your own opinion about your critical thinking, then you can start with these kinds of expressions. Okay, so we have in my opinion, I think, I consider, and etc. Have a look at it by yourself. And then if you are agreeing to something, then you can say, I agree with you, I hold the same opinion, I share your view, I have come to the same conclusion, and many more. And again, with this agreement, you can also say, I don't agree, I disagree, I don't share your view, I don't think so. So these are common expressions to express disagreement. So why are we discussing disagreement? Because we are going to do a debate. What is actually a debate? A debate is a formal discussion on a particular topic in a public meeting or legislative assembly, in which opposing arguments are put forward. So, of course, in a debate, there are two teams. Generally, we have positive team and negative team, but sometimes we can call it with government team or affirmative team. And for the negative team, we can also call opposition team. So how are we doing the debate? In a simple way, what we can do, we can actually do assertion, reasoning, evidence, and link back, which is shortened to RL. So what is actually assertion? It is the time when you are delivering your argument. And then reasoning is the time when you put the reasons behind your arguments, and then you also put evidence to it as a proof, and then you link back or review back again what you have mentioned in a form of a summary. So that's actually a simple way to do a debate. And something that I want to tell you about debate, debate is actually is predominantly done in universities level and also in parliamentary level, and particularly for university students, there have been plenty of competitions going on in the university related to debate. And we also have actually annual debate competition going on from the government, and I really hope that after this material, I will also can see some students volunteering themselves to join a debate club or also joining the competition. If you are interested, I will be very happy to welcome you to the debate club and also to train you for the debate team for Itadel's campus. So I really hope after the practicum session later on, I can see some candidates for the debate team for ITDEL, and I really hope that they can represent ITDEL in the regional competition and hopefully in the national competition. Okay, so let's get back to the material back again. So we have here a slide about RL implementation in one motion called boxing brings harm then good. So for this one, when we call boxing brings harm then good, this is actually a motion. So motion is a topic in a debate. Why we call it motion? Motion is actually moving in motion. So when it is in motion, then it is really depending on how you bring the topic, whether you bring it to the positive or you bring it to the negative. And over here I'll give you the example of oral implementation in delivering the argument. So first of all, when you do the oral in a positive, so you can say I agree with the topic. I would say this is an argument, but it's not really a very strong argument. It's more like a statement rather than an argument. Okay, and then in a reason you have because boxing doesn't promote healthy life, and then as an evidence, 80% people get injured after the game. Therefore, I believe that boxing brings harm than good. So this package over here can actually be used as one of the argument for this particular motion. Now, how about the negative version of this argument for this motion? And we have over here, I disagree with the topic. Because boxing is part of exercise. Boxing demands a lot of energy, therefore boxers need strong stamina. Based on this, I believe that boxing brings more good things than harm. Okay, so this is one argument for the negative version. So I think this slide can clearly help show you the oral way of developing your ideas or your arguments. Okay, now as an individual practice for you for this video, I want you to prepare your arguments for the following topics or for the following motion, if you call it in a debate. So I have two questions over here. The first one is, do you think sport is better than movies? And should animal be used in sport? So with the preparation, what I want you to do, I want you to prepare your arguments in a form of RL. Okay, so the assertion, reasoning, evidence, and also the link back. Later in the practicum session, I'm going to do checking for your arguments, and then after the checking, we're going to have a quick online debate practice. So how are we going to do the online debate practice? What I'm going to ask you to do later on, I'm going to divide you into teams, and then you will do a debate. Some of you may become the negative and some of you will become the positive team. It is going to be a bit difficult to decide who will be positive and negative. So I guess you better prepare yourself with both of the sides, positive and negative, so that later on when I put you into positive or negative, you are ready with your arguments. So with the argument preparation, I also want you to prepare it into sides, so positive and negative sides. So later on in the practicum session, when I put you in the positive, you have arguments. When I put you in the negative, you also have arguments. I really hope that the online debate session will be fun, and also it's the time for you to practice your English online. So that will bring us to the end of the video. As you can see over here, you can do checklist on the week 13 assessment. So whether you actually progress in this week, have a look at the question, whether you understand some expressions, comprehend some vocabulary related to esport, and also do a small debate. Okay, so that will bring us to the end of the material today. Thank you very much for watching my video. I'll see you in the practicum session. Goodbye, everyone.